Oh, as Bob Gibson was number 2, but sudden Sam McDowell. I wouldn't have gotten that. It took me a long time. Former Senator Jim Bunning is there. Juan Marichal, Jim Maloney, Bob Veal. Look at that. Yeah, Bob Gibson would have been a good call. You didn't get that.
I'm glad I didn't say Hoyt Wilhelm.
That was good. It was relieving. Otherwise, throwing the knuckleball. Absolutely. We have some more managerial news here. General managerial news. The Kansas City Royals agreeing to a contract extension with J.J. Piccolo, their executive VP and GM. The Royals, of course, went from 56 to 86 wins last year. Very impressive job by Piccolo. Extended to 2030 with a club option for, that's like the future, 2031. He was going into the last year of his contract, but the Royals are going to keep J.J. Piccolo there for a good long time. All right. It is President's Day. In honor of the holiday and keeping with our top 10 tradition, we have our own presidential rankings. Presidents of baseball operations, not the other presidents. On our series top 10 right now, we devoted a segment, kind of an unofficial, subjective top 10 for general managers and team presidents. I did this segment with Christopher Mad Dog Russo. It was an interesting exercise in examining the real power players in the sport. Let's do a little digging in. So here's my thought process, all right? Start at the top. Who's number 1? And I think it's a clear number 1, at least right now, Andrew Friedman of the Dodgers. State-of-the-art free agency buying, superior roster construction, drafting and developing. And if you think he's doing that because he has a big payroll, you have to remember he was once one of the original pound-for-pound small market GMs, having led the Rays to their winning ways for 9 years. Here's the resume. 4 pennants, 2 World Series, 9 division titles in 10 years. His Dodgers are averaging, 104 wins a year over the last 8 years. That's his average. Full disclosure, Mad Dog had Friedman 7th, which I thought was inexplicable. Andrew Friedman, for me, number 1 roster architect in the game. From there, I knew this. Brian Cashman of the Yankees and Dave Dombrowski of the Phillies had to be way up toward the top. I didn't know exactly where, but the resume alone put them in the top 10, and their current excellence should have them in the top 5. Now, this is a combination of what you're doing now and what you've done in the past. Look at these resumes. Dombrowski, 5 pennants, multiple clubs, 2 World Series titles, winning with the Marlins and the Red Sox. In between, he built a powerhouse with the Tigers. That was a great team. And now with the Phillies. Brian Cashman, he has a top payroll. 22 postseason appearances in 27 years, 7 pennants, 4 World Series titles since he took over personally. It's not a done deal that the Yankees stay on top, by the way. Brian Cashman has kept them there. So I have Andrew Friedman number 1. I know I want Dombrowski and Cashman in the top 5. Not far after those 2, by the way. I know I need to get in Mike Rizzo of the Nationals. Also the excellent resume in the midst of a very good rebuild. I know Mike Rizzo has to be close by. So my next thought, is there anyone that fits right after Friedman and before I get to these Hall of Fame GMs? And in fact, yes, there is. In my opinion, Alex Anthopoulos has done a fantastic job with the Braves. He traded for that new outfield, a whole new outfield, won a World Series title, sustained success, the whole package. And Eric Neander of the Rays is the next stage Andrew Friedman. Incredible success on a bottom 5 payroll. He's actually outpaced Friedman if you compare just the Rays on their resume. So that's my top 5. Friedman, Anthopoulos, Neander, Dombrowski, Cashman. The Hall of Fame executives are there, Dombrowski and Cashman. All right, second half of the top 10 was trickier. Mike Rizzo is making it for me, but I have the younger guys with good track records close by. David Stearns, solid work with the Brewers. A.J. Preller, who just built a fantastic Padres team last year. I figure they have to make it. I wanted to find room for Mike Hazen of Arizona, Chris Antonetti of Cleveland, David Forst of Oakland. But you know what, Buck? I ran out of room. I'm talking to Buck Showalter, by the way. I ran out of room. So here's where maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Bottom 5, Rizzo, Stearns, Preller. Last 2, I was very impressed by Chris Young and his roster rebuild for the Rangers for a World Series title run. And for number 10, I do want to reward the incredible draft and developing job by Mike Elias and his team in Baltimore. They haven't had playoff success as of yet. I know Mad Dog went after me on that, but that's a burgeoning powerhouse. Bottom 5, tougher than the top 5 in a lot of ways. But there you have it, my top 10 presidents on President's Day. Woof. All right. What do you think, Buck?
You need to take a breath?
Yeah, well,
I agree with a lot of those. One thing that hits me is how many of them have continuity with the manager. The manager hasn't been there just 1 year. Mm-hmm. You look at Boone. You look at the way they've done things with Dave Roberts.
There's stability.
There's stability
all around.
And
yes.
that tells you that they have a close relationship with their managers. Mm-hmm. And they just, everybody has input. The greatest accolade you can pay somebody is go, what's your opinion? And they take all these opinions together, and somebody at the end goes, here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. John Hart used to do that. He'd start throwing that ring. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And when he stopped throwing the ring, he goes, okay, good. I listened to everybody. Here's what we're going to do.
Right. John Hart, another Hall of Fame executive. That
without a
should be
doubt.
up there, and there's a bunch here. So, right, I thought it was Dombrowski and Cashman, kind of a, the side-by-side, and then Mike Rizzo was right there after. I had to get them in. Who would you like to see in the top 10? Give me somebody that you think, hey, you should have given this guy a little more.
I love what Mike Hazen's done with the Diamondbacks.
Okay,
you mentioned his name. I like
Mad Dog got him in, by the way. You got to.
Well, then maybe I don't.
Right. Come on. Got in Hazen, right? And got in the guys from Cleveland, so I felt better about that.
I love GMs and presidents that know who they are, understand their market, understand what they can do and what they can't do, and know what type of player they need to go after. I think Piccolo has a chance to be one of those guys. I really do. But, what'd be interesting if you did your bottom five. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Who would you have number one? Who would you have number one? Give me one thing, Buck. Give me a number one.
Number one.
Who's your number one president of baseball operations?
I have to look at it.
You just did. I just did a whole essay on it.
Everyone has a pro and con there. Everybody's going to say the Dodgers, this and that, whatever. Thank you for putting it back up. Jeez.
To me, it was clear, but then it was Anthopoulos.
I look at, Baltimore, you draft, the first 2 or 3 picks, but I look at your drafts 5 through 15.
No. Who would you have number one? Who would you have number one? Who would you have number one, Bob?
Probably one of those 10 guys.
Excellent.
I'm not going there. This is what you do.
Very down on Buck right now. All right, we'll take a short break.
皆さん、こんにちは。今日は本当に特別な一日でした。私たちのチームは、ただ勝利を手にしただけではありません。この勝利には、何度も汗をかき、試練を乗り越えてきた結果が込められています。そして、その成果を一緒に感じることができるのは、何よりも素晴らしいことです。これまでにないほど、私たちのチームワークと精神力が試されました。そして、今、私たちはその成果を手にしています。でも、これで終わりではありません。私たちの目標は、次の試合、次の大会でも同じように戦い続けることです。そして、このユニフォームを着ることがどれだけ特別なことかを、毎日感じながらプレーしています。私たちが目指しているのは、1回の勝利ではなく、何度も繰り返し、絶え間ない努力で続けていくことです。そのために、今日も明日も、一日一日を大切にしていきます。皆さんが毎日練習に取り組む姿勢を見て、私たちは本当に誇りに思っています。そして、そんな努力が実を結び、ついにこの瞬間を迎えたのです。これまでの苦しみや困難も、今や全てが報われた瞬間です。その結果が、何よりの証明です。毎日の努力、毎日の小さな改善が、最終的には大きな成果につながるのです。チーム全員が心を一つにして、同じ目標に向かって進んできました。時には辛く、くじけそうになる瞬間もありましたが、それでも諦めずに前に進み続けたからこそ、今、私たちがここに立っているのです。このユニフォームを着ることがどれだけ特別な意味を持つかを、チーム全員で感じながら、次のステップに進みましょう。皆さんも、私たちが何度も言っている、今日がすべて、という言葉を覚えていてください。明日や昨日のことではなく、今、この瞬間に集中することこそが、勝利を手にするために最も大切なことです。もし今日を全力で生き抜くことができれば、必ず明日も良い結果が待っています。そして、10月になった時には、私たちは必ず良いポジションにいることができるのです。そして、私たちの勝利には、もちろん多くの努力が必要ですが、それと同時に、楽しむことも大切だと感じています。チームの一員として、互いに支え合い、時には笑い合うことが、私たちの絆をさらに深めてくれます。だからこそ、今日のように、ちょっとした笑い話や予想外の出来事も、大きな意味を持つんですよね。SHOHEI からプレゼントされた車の話もその一つです。あんなに面白い瞬間があったからこそ、チーム全体がさらに一体感を感じることができました。さて、ここで一つお願いがあります。もしまだこの動画を見ていらっしゃる方がいたら、ぜひチャンネル登録をお願いします。私たちのチームの戦いぶり、努力、そして感動を、もっと多くの人たちと共有したいと思っています。コメントで応援のメッセージを送っていただけると、私たちの励みになりますし、次の試合ももっと頑張れる力になりますよ。最後に、これからも私たちの戦いは続きます。新たな目標に向かって、一日一日を大切にし、さらに強くなるために努力を続けていきます。そして、次の勝利の瞬間を、皆さんと一緒に祝えることを楽しみにしています。 これからも応援よろしくお願いします。次の試合も一緒に応援していきましょう。